You can't arrive at a new destination by traveling the same road. If you desire something that's unfamiliar, you have to behave differently, think uniquely, create distinctively. What does that signify? You must grasp what you're aiming to accomplish before you can discover the route to reach it. And then you have to be prepared to walk that road even if it's not the one most people would choose. Here's how I interpret this idea and why it's significant. One of my all-time favorite films is The Dark Knight. It's amusing because I still recall sitting in the cinema back in 2008 when I saw it for the first time and thinking how incredible it was. And now over 13 years later, I'm still reflecting on it. The Joker delivered a legendary line in the movie. He said, "Why so serious?" The character was obviously deranged. But I wonder, are we all just a little bit like him? Because at some stage, we opt to view the world solemnly, or we choose to discover amusement in everything. Even in ourselves. I used to take many things very seriously, but I suppose life became a little lighter once I realized that regardless of how gravely I approached life, it was never going to treat me with the same seriousness. If you search for the definition of serious, it means 1.1 of great importance, critical or somber in nature, or 2, not joking or laughing. If you examine these two meanings, it appears that being serious might be interpreted as a positive trait. For instance, being serious about your skill, profession, or business is typically considered admirable. But when you start to regard yourself too seriously, that's when it turns toxic. How can you recognize if you're being overly serious? Well, here are a few indicators. Number 1, you take feedback personally. When someone critiques you, do you assume they're doing it out of dislike, or do you consider that they might actually care and want to assist? C. Individuals who care will be more straightforward with their observations. They won't sugarcoat things because they trust you can handle the truth. People who don't genuinely care will talk behind your back and aim to make you feel inadequate. So, the next time you receive criticism, ask yourself, do they have your best interests at heart? If they do, maybe you're not taking yourself too seriously. Number 2, you fixate on outcomes. Results are meaningful. I acknowledge that. But if you're solely concentrated on outcomes, then you're neglecting the essence of living. Life is about the process, not just the endpoint. Yes, I understand. Another cliché. But hey, sometimes the old phrases carry enduring truth. Listen, I've met a lot of business-minded individuals in my life, and I've noticed that most of them fall into two groups. Either they're the type who's constantly anxious about the outcome, or they're the type who say they're not, but their actions reveal otherwise. Here's the reality. You can prepare for a result by emphasizing the procedure. When you obsess over the result, you become nervous and overwhelmed. When you focus on the path, you enjoy each moment as it comes. So, what kind of person are you? Do you find happiness in the little things? Or are you forever chasing the next milestone? Number 3, you have the need to be correct. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever engaged in a dispute where you were determined to prove you were correct, and the other person was equally determined to prove the same for themselves? Then, when the conversation ended, you both simply agreed to disagree. Let me ask you another one. Was either of you truly wrong? No, of course not. Both of you were convinced you were right. Because that's the complexity of being correct, it's subjective. This is something I've discussed in past videos. Your beliefs influence your mindset. Your mindset drives your behavior. Your behavior creates your reality. If you believe you're right, you'll interpret life through that lens. If you believe you're mistaken, then your perspective will align accordingly. Now, does that mean you shouldn't defend your principles? Absolutely not. But it does mean you ought to remain receptive to other viewpoints. Don't let your pride hinder you from gaining insight from others. Because the truth is, none of us knows everything. And the moment we think we do, we stop evolving. We stop advancing. And frankly, that's a bit tragic. So, how do you undo the damage caused by taking yourself too seriously? Well, here are a few suggestions. First, make more room in your life for humor. Laughter is a powerful remedy. Yes, I know you've heard that before, but it's factual. Scientific studies show that laughter alleviates stress and anxiety, boosts your immune health, and enhances your overall mood. So prioritize laughter. Watch a sitcom. Visit a comedy venue. Browse funny clips on YouTube. Spend time with people who make you laugh. Do whatever you need to do to laugh more often. Second, concentrate on the experience. Yes, I mentioned this already, but it's worth restating. Focus on enjoying the passage, not just the destination. Live in the present. Be thankful for what you currently possess. Stop worrying about potential failures. Stop stressing about an uncertain future. Instead, give your energy to what's within your grasp today. Immerse yourself in the now and savor it. Third, Ask yourself, am I clinging too tightly to my beliefs? Beliefs can become a safety net. It's natural to hold on to them because they provide stability and a sense of identity. But occasionally, we need to release them and entertain alternative perspectives. This doesn't imply that you must abandon your convictions, but it does suggest that you should stay open to other possibilities. Think different, build different. When you adopt a new mindset, your perception changes. When your perception changes, you gain the ability to construct something new. Here's the reality. Most people want to create something unique, but they refuse to think in a new way. They say things like, I wish there were a better answer, or I wish things could change. Well, wishing doesn't produce results. If you want to craft something distinctive, you must begin with original thought. You need the courage to see life through a new lens. A popular saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. In other words, if you repeat the same actions, you'll repeat the same outcomes. If you desire a different outcome, you must pursue a different method. Okay, now, I want to hear from you. Are you taking yourself too seriously? If so, what steps will you take to shift that? Also, do you believe that in order to build something new, you must think differently? Share your views in the comments. I genuinely enjoy reading them, so take a moment to express your thoughts. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. If you found this video valuable, please tap the like button. It makes a big difference. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing and joining the community. I share new content every single week and would love for you to be part of it. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.